don't do that. That's polite. How we doing in a terrible technological age? I'm actually going to turn mine off.
And you know, you auditioned for other things. And Blood Rain, did anyone play that game? That was the first video game I ever did.
Push this, or is this turn thing off?
That was in Texas, and now that I live in California, you know, I get auditions for so many more video games because obviously there's a lot more of that going on in LA, and so that's just.
Is it a different process?
It is. It is. You know, anime is something where we dub. We do ADR, so we come in after it's already been animated, obviously, and we match the mouth movements and we put our voice in afterwards. And in video games and original animation, a lot of the time, you know, you record and then they animate to you. And so there's a lot more freedom as an actor, you know, when you're doing a video game or an original cartoon because you get to develop a character. But anime is so much more challenging because you're taking something that's already been made and breaking it down and then building it back up again in a way to make sense. So.
Is it? Have you ever met any of some of the original voice actors, and has that process ever influenced yours?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's, thank you. I will submit my banners. I mean, you take everything you learn from other people and you put it into your own work. I actually, did anybody play the video? I'm not in it. Did anybody play Dragon Age? Wasn't that game? Did you like it? Because I absolutely love that game. Oh my gosh. And that was very recent, but playing that game, I feel like improved my voice acting because the acting in that game was so phenomenal. You know?
It is good.
And they really approached it in a different way than a lot of other video games approach acting. And so yeah, I applied that, and I'm actually working on a couple games now with the director that did Dragon Age, and it's really cool to get to, you know, progress your career that way.
Now you mentioned in an article I read online about how much you like fruit baskets. Tell us why.
Fruits Basket? Oh my gosh. I love Fruits Basket because, well, that's one of the first animes I ever did outside of Dragon Ball Z. And Dragon Ball Z is very, you know,
Yeah.
and I was a little boy who's a total punk in that. And Fruits Basket, and then we did Blue Gender, and then we did Yu Hakusho, and then I got cast in Fruits Basket. And Fruits Basket was the very first show that I absolutely fell in love with. You know, like when we were recording it, I had to know what was going on, but I didn't want to know what was going to happen in the show. Like whenever I would go in, I wouldn't let my director, Justin, who played Yusuke in Yu Hakusho, I wouldn't let him tell me anything that was about to happen, but I wanted to know in that episode if anybody kissed or anybody hugged, or if anybody like developed a relationship further. Like I was so obsessed with it. So it was cool to get to be a part of. Oh yeah, well it's so sweet, and Tora was so wonderful and nice, and I wanted to be like her when I was recording it, and she had really cool clothes.
It sounds like it was easy for you to do. It sounds like fun. That's the best part. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's like somebody you could relate to. I guess that's part that makes it easy.
Well, voice acting, I think, is easier. Well, not easier necessarily, but cooler because you get to have so much variety in what you do. You know, when you're acting on camera or on stage, there's only a certain amount that you can play. But when you're doing voice acting, you know, I can't play a little 5-year-old boy that likes to talk about food. You know? So that's cool.
Any questions so far from you guys? What y'all want to know?
What y'all want to know?
What you want to know?
How did it feel when you first started doing voice acting?
It was totally crazy when I first started. I was in college. I had just started. It was my first year of college. And, you know, at that point, a job is like, you know, working at McDonald's or something like that. And I went and auditioned for Funimation. And they wanted me to come in and do a recording session, but at the same time I had a project due in college, and I couldn't go to my recording session, so I like skipped it and went to my, you know, project that was due, and I got a phone call from the producer up at Funimation, and he was nice enough at the time because he knew I was pretty young and I had never done this before, but he's like, you know, this is a real thing, and we're on a tight production schedule, and I understand you're in school and everything, but you need to take this seriously. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I never did that again, ever. And it just made me realize, you know, what I was doing, because you're so separated when you're recording. You know, you're in this little booth and you're only working with a couple people, so you don't realize that it's something that's going to be on TV and people are going to be able to watch it. And when I'm 60 years old, I'll be able to still go back and listen to what I sound like as Trunks, and it's crazy.
Are there any characters you never liked doing? You wouldn't want to visit those characters again, ever?
Well, I mean, I think I'm very lucky to be doing anything at all. I mean, frankly, I think my job is pretty cool, and I never, want to turn down work. There's nothing that I would say, okay, I'm not going to do that. But, well, except for, stuff like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would never do that. I guess there's a couple times where I've recorded something and I didn't realize afterwards, like, how it would turn out or something. I just was on YouTube, I shouldn't even say it. I was on YouTube and I recorded this show that my character, I can't even remember the name of the show, this is totally lame, I can't remember the name of the show. But she was a really sweet girl, and then she had this one little sequence where it was like this dream sequence of this guy who was imagining her in this like compromising situation. And somebody just uploaded that to YouTube. They didn't upload any of the rest of the character. It was just that one scene, and it sounded like I voiced something that I did not, you know what I mean? And so that's the only kind of situation that I would go, well, I don't want to do that kind of thing ever again, because it can be soloed out and it makes it seem like you were part of something that you weren't.
Well, on that same topic, do you ever find the fans kind of, you seem to be really cool with your fans, because that's a really good trait.
You guys suck.
But
Just kidding.
you ever see some of them, some of the things they post, or some of the things besides that,
Well,
are kind of odd or kind of obsessive?
well, I mean, if you have a job that is seen by the public, then I think everybody that has a job like that is going to get fanatics, you know what I mean? So yeah, there are a couple of people that write me or email me or send me messages on Facebook or something that are a little over the top, or
Well, that's the whole point.
3 messages a day from one person. That can be overwhelming, but most everybody's really cool. Although I have looked myself up on everybody does, you Google yourself or whatever, and I've seen some pretty horrible stuff. There was like a girl that said that I think she's saying, was it for Maca for Soul Eater, when she found out I was cat, she's like, oh, it's gonna suck so bad now, she's gonna ruin it, I hate Lord Man.
Somebody started asking a question.
Blue Gender was your second one?
Yes.
How hard was it? Because they're two really different characters. If you're
Right.
playing a 5-year-old boy and you're playing a very serious character. How hard
Right.
was it?
Well, Blue Gender was was the first thing we did outside of the Dragon Ball universe, So I had done a bunch of characters in Dragon Ball. But playing Marlene, I mean, that show is so completely different than Dragon Ball Z.
Really dark.
Yeah, it's really dark.
It's like Dark Ones.
And the monster. Yeah, when we recorded that show, Chris Abbott, who played, Vegeta and Piccolo, and he was one of the main directors, and he played everything at the time. And he really wanted to take it very seriously, and so when we started recording Blue Gender, we changed the recording schedule, so we only recorded that show at night, after everybody else in the studio had gone home, so we wouldn't get all these crazy interruptions. Because when Funimation, back in the day, when we were recording Dragon Ball Z, I mean, it was like you were in a dorm. It was everybody showing up in pajamas, and you're running around, and you're interrupting everybody's sessions. You're just like running in and like causing a ruckus because it was fun to do, And then when we recorded Blue Gender, we wanted to be very dramatic. And of course, it's Chris Sabat. He was absolutely hilarious. He can't take anything seriously for too long. And I remember one time we were recording, it was that scene, I don't know, it was the first time they show the little green balls that the bugs leave, and it's like these humans that have been squished together and like
Faces.
it's disgusting. And the line was they wrapped them up like dumplings, and I don't know, it was such a weird line. And he could not take it seriously, and every single time I was supposed to record the line, he would say in my ear, they wrap them up like burritos at Taco Bell. And for an hour, I was like on the floor of the booth, like dying laughing. I could not talk. It's good
So when you're talking about dumplings, anything's fine. Questions, guys?
What was it like playing Shin?
Shin? Oh my gosh, have you guys seen Shin Chan?
Yes. Favorite show.
I love playing